Was getting rich really easier back in the day, or is the world of technology allowing more people to escape the rat race? Let's find out the truth. Every generation seems to have its own way of chasing the dream, but what if I told you the answer isn't that simple? The truth is, it all depends on who you are, how you think, and the way you go after opportunities. In this video, we are breaking it all down, the old school grind versus today's fast-paced hustle. Let's start off by covering how the mindset of generating wealth has changed over time. Back then, wealth wasn't built overnight. It was seen as a marathon rather than a sprint. The mindset was rooted in gradual long-term growth. People focused on accumulating wealth slowly by building solid businesses, investing in land or manufacturing, and saving over decades. Success was measured in stability, reliability, and often in the ability to pass down assets to future generations. In our modern digital era, the narrative has shifted dramatically. The rise of technology, social media, and global connectivity has given birth to the overnight millionaire myth. Today, many are captivated by stories of startups that go viral, apps that reach millions of users in a matter of months, and investing booms that turn ordinary people into instant success stories. The modern mindset emphasizes rapid scaling, agile entrepreneurship, and bold risk-taking. Because of this, the majority of young people are looking for that quick money scheme rather than putting in the hard work that getting rich requires. They will jump from idea to idea thinking that the previous one was simply not good enough, rather than staying consistent, which is what wealth creation requires. This is why so many people fail to do so these days, because as we all know, overnight success doesn't exist. So let's begin with where we are right now. In our fast-paced, constantly evolving environment, generating wealth is more achievable than ever. Not to say that it's easy, but thanks to digital platforms, global connectivity, and advanced technology, with just a smartphone, anyone with a vision and drive can launch a startup, tap into emerging markets, or build a personal brand that reaches millions. Nevertheless, achieving success in the modern environment still demands dedication, adaptability, and the ability to learn quickly from both failures and opportunities. With huge competition and rapidly shifting trends, the key is to find your niche, stay consistent, and leverage the tools at your disposal to build something truly impactful. All of this sounds great, but there are a few downsides to all of this, so let's cover it all now. Let's cover some pros and cons of this rapidly evolving market and how you can take advantage of it. First, a couple pros. One of the biggest advantages of today's market is how easy it is to connect with people from all over the world. Businesses and creators aren't stuck working with their local area anymore. Even a small idea can quickly catch on and grow into something huge if it's marketed the right way. The next advantage is the low entry cost needed for some of these side hustles. Of course, if you wanted a brick and mortar shop, you would need quite a lot of money these days. However, if you have a skill, you can make money online with very low entry costs. Whether it's launching an e-commerce store, creating content, or offering online services. One of the biggest advantages of this modern era is the sheer amount of accessible learning material for building wealth and developing skills. Unlike the past, when knowledge was often limited to books, mentorships, or expensive courses, today anyone can learn almost anything for free. And lastly, modern wealth building isn't confined to one path. Due to all of the technology that we have, the possibilities are endless. Crypto, NFTs, apps, personal brands, these are just a few areas of potential. Now let's cover some cons. The ease of entry has resulted in oversaturated market. Standing out in this environment takes relentless effort and unique value. Most niches are already dominated and you're often up against massive corporations with endless resources, leaving little room for small players to compete. Success in this environment demands exceptional effort, creativity, and finding ways to stand out in a sea of competitors, which doesn't mean it's impossible, but you won't be the first in any niche that you try. The next problem is the misinformation overload. Since so many vulnerable people are looking for that easy way out, the internet is flooded with get-rich-quick schemes in form of courses or scams trying to make profit from that, making it harder to navigate legitimate opportunities. And lastly, since the markets are so saturated and you need to be able to stand out, for higher chances of succeeding, you definitely need some sort of capital. And since in today's world, the cost of living has skyrocketed compared to previous generations, it makes it harder for many people to save and invest. Expenses like housing, education, and healthcare take up a significant portion of income, leaving less room for wealth building. This financial strain makes it challenging to gather the capital needed to start a business or invest in long-term ventures, especially for those without a financial safety net. But of course, this depends from country to country. Now that we have gone over some of the negatives and positives about trying to make money these days, let's cover some side hustles you could dive into. First up is digital entrepreneurship, a broad and versatile field that can be broken down into several subcategories. The first one, as I mentioned, is e-commerce. For those who might not be familiar, e-commerce refers to the act of buying and selling goods over the internet. What's great about this is that you don't necessarily need to create the product yourself. Instead, you can source a cheap product that you believe has potential, list it on a platform like Amazon, Shopify, or even Facebook Marketplace, and sell it at a higher price. This process is known as dropshipping. It allows you to focus on marketing and operations without dealing with the inventory, as products are shipped directly from suppliers to customers. Platforms like Shopify and Amazon have made it easier than ever to set up an online store with minimal effort, giving you access to global audience. It's important to note, however, that while starting can feel simple, making it profitable is anything but easy. Success in e-commerce requires research, finding the right product, effective marketing, and above all, consistency. If you're willing to put in the effort, there's definitely potential to make money in this space. The next subcategory is creating an app. Now this one is a bit more technical and requires either a strong understanding of coding or a decent amount of capital to hire developers. That said, app creation can be incredibly lucrative in today's tech-driven world. If you have an idea that solves a problem, fills a gap in the market, or improves upon something existing, you're on the right track. Whether it's a fitness app, productivity software, or a unique game, apps have the potential to generate significant revenue through downloads, subscriptions, or in-app purchases. While this route requires careful planning and investment upfront, the rewards can be significant. And lastly, what's been getting increasingly popular is creating an agency. This could be anything from a marketing company that manages social media strategies for clients to a graphic design agency that provides branding services for businesses. Agencies are businesses that revolve around offering specialized services to individuals or companies who either don't have the expertise, time, or resources to handle these tasks themselves. For instance, you could start a digital marketing agency that focuses on running ad campaigns, SEO optimization, or content creation for businesses looking to increase their online visibility. Alternatively, a virtual assistant agency can provide administrative support remotely to busy entrepreneurs or executives. Another rising niche is a video editing or creative production agency where you help content creators or brands elevate their video quality for platforms like YouTube or Instagram. What makes this model appealing is its scalability. You can start small, offering services on your own, and as demand grows, you can hire a team of specialists to take on more clients and expand your service offerings. While creating an agency does require a combination of skills like client management, business operations, and industry expertise, it's a fantastic opportunity to capitalize on your strengths while solving problems for others. Lastly, we have freelancing. If you have a skill, you can make money through apps like Fiverr. If you can edit video, program, or some other skill, you can make easy money on the side of it. The markets are as always saturated, but if you're good at what you're doing, you can make money. Moving on from digital entrepreneurship, the next thing on our list is investing. Since the days of technology, investing has never been as available as it is now. You can go ahead and create an account with a broker in a matter of seconds and start trading on the stock market. Trading isn't easy, but it never was. At least it's better than doing it the old-fashioned way, which was also only available to higher-ups in the hierarchy. Now, just like everything, if you put in the work, you can definitely become profitable, especially with the tons of learning resources available. If stocks aren't your thing, crypto is becoming an increasingly viable and profitable alternative. With the rise of blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum have opened up opportunities for people to invest in decentralized finance. Next up, we have content creation, which once again requires time and knowledge to stand out, but definitely isn't impossible to learn. And with tools like Adobe Podcast, you don't even need a professional microphone. You can make money through monetization or things like affiliate marketing, so anyone with a creative mind can start. Now that we covered the present, let's get straight to covering the past. This era had a very different set of challenges and opportunities when it came to making money. Back then, getting rich was all about slow, steady growth and playing the long game. The opportunities looked very different compared to what we see today. People relied heavily on traditional industries like real estate, local businesses, and manufacturing. But with fewer tools, the road to wealth wasn't always as accessible as it is now. Let's break it down and look at what made getting rich in the past both unique and challenging. So let's go over some ways to make money back then. To start off, let's cover the most popular way of generating wealth in the past, which was through real estate. Property prices were much more affordable relative to income, allowing many more people to step onto the property ladder early in life. It wasn't just about owning a home. Savvy investors would buy additional properties to rent out, creating a steady stream of passive income. Over time, as demand grew and cities expanded, property prices appreciated significantly, offering long-term returns that could lead to substantial wealth. For many, real estate was a reliable, low-risk investment. The limited competition and local market focus meant opportunities were easier to spot and success didn't require advanced knowledge or tools, just persistence and capital. This made real estate a cornerstone of wealth building for generations. Now the real estate game has changed drastically. Property prices have skyrocketed, making it much harder for the average person to afford even their first home, let alone invest in multiple properties. I mean, let's be real, for most in the UK, even buying some crusty garage somewhere down a dusty back alley in London seems expensive. Competition is huge, with buyers not just from local area but from all over the world driving up prices further. On the other hand, modern technology has introduced new ways to profit from real estate. Platforms like Airbnb allow people to generate income by renting out properties short term, which works but doesn't really get close to how the market was back in the day. Another good way of making an income back then was through brick and mortar business due to the local market dominance. In the past, local businesses were the backbone of wealth building. Unlike today's globalized markets, most economies were community-centered, giving local entrepreneurs an incredible advantage. If you started a business within your town or region, there was often little to no competition, especially if your product or service met a specific need. For example, owning the only grocery store, bakery, or blacksmith shop in town virtually guaranteed a steady stream of customers. Whereas now, it's not unlikely to see a Costa and a Starbucks within 200 meters of each other, dominating the market with brand recognition, global reach, and massive marketing budgets. If you were to open an independent coffee shop now, you'd not only face intense competition from these well-established chains, but also struggle to match the lower prices and polished customer experiences. Lack of competition wasn't the only positive of brick and mortar shops, but the cost to set one up weren't nowhere near as high as they are now. Like we mentioned, land was a lot cheaper along with equipment and labor, making it so much easier than it would be now. Right now, buying or renting a spot out in any place in England would cost you so much you couldn't compete with the prices of the giants. It was also a lot more simple to advertise back in the day. You didn't have to spend a large amount of your capital for adverts or even going as far as hiring a team of professionals. The only forms of marketing available was the newspaper, the radio, or simply word of mouth. One of the drawbacks, however, was the problem of scalability, due to the lack of framework to do so, making it almost impossible to get outside of the local market. Meaning you could definitely get a nice income stream coming from a brick and mortar shop, but it would be really hard to become a global giant because of the limited transportation and communication available. Brick and mortar businesses and real estate investments weren't the only avenues for generating wealth during those times. Some other popular methods include farming. Agriculture was a major wealth generator, especially through cash crops like cotton, tobacco, and wheat. Large landowners in particular could profit significantly by exploiting labor and controlling vast plots of land. Transportation. The rise of railroads and shipping opened opportunities for individuals and companies to profit by controlling trade routes or investing in transportation infrastructure. Entrepreneurs who owned fleets, ports, or logistics systems gained immense wealth. Banking. Financial institutions played a pivotal role in facilitating commerce, and early bankers profited by lending money at interest or managing investments. Owning or operating a bank was often a lucrative enterprise for those with the capital to start one. While these industries offered different paths to wealth, they often shared one commonality. Access to resources and capital was crucial for success. Individuals with sufficient funds or influence could leverage these opportunities effectively. All of this may sound decent and might seem like it's easy due to lack of competition and significantly lower property prices. But apart from problems like the lack of education and constant economical uncertainty, there is one huge problem in the older days that made it almost impossible for most people to start a business, which was the rigid social hierarchy system. This system wasn't just a minor inconvenience, it was a barrier that dictated every aspect of your life, from career opportunities to economic independence. Wealth and power were tightly controlled by the upper class, who ensured that resources and privileges remained within their own circles. For most people, simply attempting to break out of their predetermined social role was an extraordinary challenge. Even those with entrepreneurial ambitions faced significant systematic barriers. Banks and lenders often refused to provide capital to individuals from lower social standings, and industrial monopolies acted as gatekeepers, limiting entry into profitable industries. So was getting rich easier in the past? While traditional methods like real estate and brick and mortar businesses had their merits, affordable entry points, lower setup costs, and less saturated local markets, the systematic barriers of rigid social hierarchies and limited scalability meant that these opportunities were only available to a select few. In today's world, while technology and globalization have democratized many aspects of wealth building, the modern landscape is not without its own challenges. Ultimately, whether you build for the old school grind or the modern hustle depends on who you are, how you think, and how you harness the opportunities before you. Anyone with a vision and drive can launch a startup, tap into emerging markets, or build a personal brand that reaches millions. This new era shatters traditional barriers, giving everyday people direct access to tools and resources that were once the exclusive domain of the elite. Whether you're an entrepreneur ready to disrupt the market, an investor exploring digital currencies, or a creative mind eager to share your story with the world, you no longer need large capital to start earning money. While making a brick and mortar business might be more expensive than ever, you can simply make money online just by having some sort of skill set. That will be it for this video. I'd appreciate if you could leave a like and let me know in the comments what era you would rather be at. See you in another video.